This is Dabu7. Critical information here. I have to give out a shout out to Kart Racer. Wish I would have saw his video before I put out my last video, because this stuff is key. My last video was in terms of the anomalies on the Mimic map. We've got a lot of them. I've been covering this for years, and we've known that these are drawing back to a region in Antarctica. But because they want to cut out Antarctica on a lot of these maps, we can never see exactly where they're triangulating back to, the exact base. Now, we know there's mystery bases that they're not going to list, like the ones on these islands here and other remote places in the ocean. But I got to give a shout out to Jim that put together a great tool here, Climate Viewer, in tracking all these locations. And what this allows us to do is to connect the dots and to finally see the bigger picture of what's going on here around the globe in terms of weather modification on a global grand scale. Once again, shout outs to Jim, shout outs to Kart Racer. I'll leave links for all that below so you guys can check out these sites and their work. But pertaining to the situation here, it's got to be known that there is a facility right here where we're tracking these waves back to. Literally, drawing a line right back to the heart of the situation is this facility. It is a super darn facility. That is what it's dubbed, and it is massive. It is there to affect the atmosphere. Right next to it, believe it or not, is what they dub the grandfather of HAARP. So some people only ever hearing of HAARP, some still not really understanding what it's for. It's for weather modification. It's for heating up the ionosphere, hitting it with a blast of energy, and then you can manipulate the weather. Where they're saying it's now closed and buried underneath the snow. But until we see proof of otherwise, anything could be going on here. A lot of these bases were top secret until exposed one way or another. So they let the information out that they were there, especially in terms of different satellite imagery, things like that. But some bases are completely hidden and off the record, and they're not going to be on this map. They also have these platforms out in the ocean that they move around. They're mobile, that help do the same thing in certain instances. But we have proof, finally, right here, that we have an array that's set up specifically for manipulating the atmosphere, where we have proof via other images, high-frequency waves, UHF, different frequencies being caught here. Now we know they're related. Most people have only heard of HAARP. If you look at the one in Peru, it dwarfs HAARP. It is a monster. If you go on up here to the United States, well, along the way, you're going to see question marks, which, like I said, there's facilities around the globe that we know are top secret. We just don't have solid proof of. But you're going to come to find out that there's other facilities. Ion colliders. You hear of CERN. Well, they have the same things going on here in this country, most people completely unaware. I've talked about Fermilabs, everything in Illinois. You have this right here. You have this here, two different locations. But sticking to weather modification, this is really the kicker and the game changer for anyone that needs to see what's going on here. Out at the edge of the islands in Puerto Rico, the same Puerto Rico that got hammered by a hurricane, right here at the heart of Hurricane Alley, before these hurricanes really start to hit any mainland or any life, so to speak, coming in from the ocean, guess what we have? We have a massive HF ionospheric heater, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me right. It's not secret anymore. It's known. It's out there. Megahertz, everything that it runs off, all the megawatts, the whole setup is explained right here. They have an ionospheric heater, which if you blast the eye wall of a hurricane with heat, what do you get? You get fuel. You supercharge it. And when you can drape a net over the whole region, they can manipulate this big time. Now, watch this pattern over here I just covered in my other video. It hits the Great Lakes, which means that this blip that you're seeing stretched clear across the United States. You're just not seeing it because the map's not showing you. See that pattern? See all those waves coming from out in the middle of the ocean? For what it would seem, they stretch all the way across the United States, all the way up there. You just don't see anything on the white part of the map. It's kind of deceptive in that manner. So all of this going across the United States at the exact moment that Florence makes landfall. Watch it. Right there, as soon as it hits the coastline, that eye wall, the whole thing sees a big zap. So you now have proof. Anytime anyone wants to debate or speculate, or maybe they're just curious and they want to know what's really going on with weather manipulation, they want to know some facts. They want to know some solid, hardcore proof, evidence that there's some stations set up out here and that we're actually seeing something in the skies. Well, you've got it right here. You can connect both hand in hand, because they go hand in hand, with all of this. Got to give a shout out to everyone out there that plays their part in getting the truth out there, because we're in this together. Once again, though, these are all over the place and in one of the most crucial places on the whole planet that affects us. You have an ionic heater. A heater, for crying out loud, that is adding fuel to these storms. And there's no telling how many other facilities are all along the way that are hidden, that they do not speak of. This one and these setups are key to me. I'm going to leave a link. Make sure to check everything out. Stay tuned for more. Here's your proof. It's been Dabu7.